We are going to be using a feature called Steam Remote Play today, and this will involve using the Steam Deck portable gaming device. I'm using an HDMI adapter. I have a HDMI adapter that has everything on it. It has, a USB port, has 2 USB ports, 3 USB ports, an HDMI output, which is like key, and of course a place to plug in the power cord so that you can use this HDMI adapter to both charge the Steam Deck while getting a video signal out of it. So this is the device I would normally use if I was playing with my Steam Deck on my TV. But the caveat is, the Steam Deck is great when you're traveling, when you want to have a portable device. But when you're playing on your TV, you're essentially using a low-grade system. If I play Dirt Rally on a Steam Deck, it's going to recommend that I use the lowest settings, low quality, and all of that. But if I click on this little down arrow, I already have Steam running on my PC. So if you have Steam on your desktop computer and your computer is on, got the little icon in your bottom right corner, you can click on this down arrow over here, select the name of your computer. That's the name of my computer, Epsilon. And now the play button is replaced by a stream button, and this will literally stream the game from my desktop computer, and it will stream my controller inputs to my desktop computer. This PS4 controller is currently linked wirelessly to my Steam Deck. It's actually surprisingly simple to get these PS4 controllers to work on a Steam Deck. It's challenging to get it to work on a PC. But through remote play, no BS. So right now, if I was to switch inputs on my monitor, I would be looking at the same thing here basically. So basically my Steam Deck commanded Steam on my desktop computer to open up Dirt Rally 2.0. Let's check the settings first, because sometimes, depending on the game, if it's the first time you're using remote play, it may not be in full screen mode, or you might have some other issue. And so you can see right now I'm using 1080p, which is fine. We're doing it a little convoluted style right now because I'm streaming from the same computer, but if I was in front of my TV, it's as simple as this. I would plug my Steam Deck into my TV via an HDMI adapter, and then I would just select stream the game, and now I'm able to run the game at 1080p on a device that is not very powerful, because of course my computer is doing the heavy lifting. That is the point. The point of a remote play is that you're using the graphics card and the CPU in your big old desktop computer, and the Steam Deck is really just acting as like a gateway. It's giving you remote access to it. It's like a thin client almost. And this will, in some cases, if you're running it in your hand, it will save you on battery power. So if you're playing with your Steam Deck somewhere else in your house over Wi-Fi, you could use remote play to get better quality while also extending the battery life on your device. In my case, I'm plugging into my TV, so I have a power cord plugged into my Steam Deck. So the battery is not really an issue, but of course, when you're doing remote play, the Steam Deck is going to run cooler. It's not going to get too hot, so that should be good for longevity. And most importantly, I could play this game on my TV without plugging my Steam Deck into my TV. That is the key. So we got 1920 by 1080p. If you wanted to, you could lower it to 720p to try to get better quality, but I'm happy with everything I got here. I'm, satisfied. So I'm going to leave it alone. I've done a mix of high and ultra. I'm using a 2060, RTX 2060 at 6 gigabytes of video RAM. So let's jump right to it. We're going to go to an event that is already active. Now, I'm not super familiar with how all of this rally car racing stuff works, but I can say that this was super challenging first time I played it. And as I've, gone through it, I dredged through it, I've improved. So this is the second time I'm going to do this set of events. But this time, I'm much more able to drive effectively. I should also note my Steam Deck is not connected by Wi-Fi. I have it connected via an Ethernet adapter, and I only wish I bought the USB and HDMI adapter that had the built-in gigabit port. So, you know, you can easily spin out. If I bump into a bump on the edge of the road, I will go flying. And having the ability to do variable trigger control, having a trigger that you can do variable pressure on is very important. You can even do, you know, simulator style. If you had like a real steering wheel on your desk, you could like do cockpit view.
50. 6 left, opens 30.
I personally don't like driving in a third-person view. Now, you might see a little choppiness here, and I would attribute that to two things. I would say the fact I'm running OBS on the same computer I'm, you know, streaming from, and I'm essentially streaming it live to YouTube while I'm streaming the game through remote play to my TV right now. But I could point out other imperfections. Overall, this does enable me to have a better experience, better graphics than I would get from the Steam Deck. But of course, normally I wouldn't use remote play. Sitting in front of my desk, I would just play the game directly on my computer right now. But I gotta say, the latency, the lack thereof, lag is excellent. You know, some people might prefer to have a hood in front of them to simulate a real car. This adds a dimension of realism.
6 right long, opens over crests, 50. 4 left long, into 4 right narrow. Opens over crest, tarmac. 80 over crest, slow, unseen turn, 1 left.
You got an engineer holding a clipboard here telling you where to turn.
200. Right entry, chicane.
That's funny.
50.
Oh. Oh, come on! Busted up my light.
6 left, 250. Turn 3 left long, opens over crest, gravel. 30. Turn 3 left long, 80.
I'm gonna drive the way I'm accustomed to driving. I'm alternating between different viewing angles, you know, so I can showcase the gameplay. And I gotta say, this is a game that, you know, is very easy to get distracted. Like, talking and thinking about what I'm saying to you right now. You'll also notice that I no longer have any headlights on my car because I destroyed them.
Sudden caution, 2 right. 3 left. 30. 6 right long. 30. 6 right long. 30. 6 left of a jump. Opens of a jump long. To keep middle of big jump, 30. 5 left, into 3 right long tightens. Into 5 left. 50.
See, just like that. It's just like that. Gotta use them brakes.
Long, opens over crest to keep middle of a crest into 6 right, extra long, over finish to stop. How did the car feel in that stage?
Okay, so
To make any setup
do we
changes?
want to try this game out without remote play? It's tempting, but I'm so in the groove of it right now. I think I'll record a separate video where where I combine or I do separate remote play and direct play. Sound check 1 2.
Starts 6 right, opens
Oh.
long over crest to slow tarmac 50.
Can't increase the volume. Oh, damn it. So here's an example of like sometimes you can repair your car between races. Apparently it won't let me repair it now.
1, go.
So because it won't let me repair my car,
Long over crest to slow tarmac 50. Turn 1 left.
I'm getting glare from my window and the ground is dark.
Right, opens long over crest to slow tarmac 50, turn 1 left, opens, don't cut long, 160, don't cut 2 right around bail, 50, don't cut 1 right around bail, into turn, don't cut 1 left, cobble slippy, and hairpin left, don't cut. Into 3 right, 3 left slippy, turn, don't cut 3 right, opens long, 100. Unseen, 4 right, extra long, tightens, 50. Flat jump. To jump, slow 30, 6 left 30, turn 1 left. 30. 6 left, extra long. 120.
Oh man, almost went Sonny Bono.
5 right long, 80. Straight of the junction, into 5 left, tightens 4. And 6 right, opens 80. 5 left long, tightens 3. Into 5 right, opens over crest. Into 5 left. Into 4 right long, opens over crest, 80. 4 left long, tightens jump, 50. Crest, and flat left, opens, 6 left over crest, 50. Crest, jump, and 4 right. Opens long of a big jump, opens long of a big jump, 30. Turn, 4 right. Extra long, 30. 5 left long, tightens 3. 120. Caution slow. 6 right, caution slow, 6 right, into 6 left, into turn unseen, 1 right tightens. Opens over crest, into 6 left long, into 6 right, extra long, opens over crest, 50, opens over crest, into 6 left long, into 6 right, extra long, opens over crest, 50, 5 right over jump, into 6 left, 30, opens long, into 5 left, into 4 right over crest long. Into 6 left over crest, opens over jump, into 4 right, 50, slow crest into turn, 1 left, tarmac, 80. 6 left over crest long, tightness turn, 1 left, gravel, and 5 right long. 6 left over crest long, tightness turn, 1 left, gravel, and 5 right long, into 5 left over bump, into 6 right, into 6 left, extra long, opens over crest, jump, into 6 right long, into 6 left, into don't cut 5 right long, opens over crest, into 5 left long, tightens 4, 50. 5 right, extra long past junction, into 6 left over crest long, into 6 right long, opens over crest 50, 6 left, into 6 right, into 6 left, 140 over bumps, 5 right over crest and jump, opens over crest and jump long, to flat crest and jump, 50, 4 left narrow, 80, flat crest, flat crests, 50, 5 right, turn, 4 left tarmac, into 6 right over finish, to stop, well done. Front right puncher.
Front right puncture. I love when that happens.
Stage finished. Well done.
So yeah, you know, that's Steam Remote Play when playing this game, and well, because I wasn't completely paying attention, I did just about as well as I was doing last week when I started playing this game seriously. I'm hoping that they let me repair the car right before the next stage. Okay, good, event finished. So looks like I may not have to worry about partial repair. I can get it completely repaired, because that is one of the issues, is between events, during an event, you're lucky if you can get like all of the broken stuff repaired in one shot. Now if I go to play a new event, So under repairs, you do recommended repairs, and it's going to do standard repairs. But realistically, I don't really see an issue in like replacing entire parts, because at least in this particular mode, it's not costing me anything. In other modes, it might cost you something depending on what version of the game you're playing and what, you know, playback mode you're doing. But this is all fine. Engine tuning. There's a mode that will put excess wear and tear on the engine, and they actually charge you 1,000 credits to downgrade your tuning. And I've added all of the magical research upgrades that were available, so I'm leaving that alone. Really not much to change here. I can start a new event. And the next one would be 4 stages under event 2. And then, you know, so on and so forth. So the idea is you do all of these sets of events, 4 here, 4 here, 4 here. You try to get a better ranking. And regardless, you pretty much will get some kind of payout, and that payout will let you upgrade your car. I think it lets you buy cars in other game modes. I'm not really sure. I haven't really gotten far. All I know is I played Dirt Rally 4 yesterday instead of Rally 2.0, and it was less challenging than this. But, you know, if you go into like certain game modes, like this one here is Rallycross. This is like on a race track. And this, like, you actually get to race with real electronic opponents. So this one I don't plan on playing because I gotta get some stuff done. I just wanted to demonstrate this. But right here you can see, like, in the cockpit view, how hyper realistic this is. See, very slick road. You definitely it takes some getting used to. And if I was playing this on the Steam Deck, the settings would require me to reduce it a lot. The quality, the reflection, ray tracing would be non-existent on a Steam Deck. But in this mode, I can take advantage of ray tracing. And in a situation where you got rain, yeah, ray tracing would be beneficial. It does add realism, and, you know, I don't know, I think it makes it look realistic. I mean, I'm not a big gamer. Now, where I get confused is, like, overcompensate there. I always lose penalty points on that turn. Right. You can see the little chippity choppiness there. Once again, I'm not usually accustomed to seeing that. I'm thinking it's because I'm running OBS. So, you know, we'll do a comparison. I'll record a different video of me just playing the game. And if we get that choppy playback, it's like very subtle, then maybe it is because I'm running OBS, because it is sharing with my GPU, which I really can't check right now. Well, I'm going to try to. This might cause problems. See, during remote play, you're not really supposed to take control of the keyboard on the computer running the game, but you totally could. And that's what we just did now. Another thing I noticed about remote play is when Steam Remote Play is running, whichever monitor you put your mouse onto is the monitor that Steam will display. But if you're using the mouse from your gamepad, it won't let you move the mouse onto the other screen. So that's how it prevents you from accidentally switching. But you saw the GPU is running at full load when playing the game. And I'm using half of my GPU just running the video encoder. And so I could play the game on my Steam Deck directly and record it, and then it wouldn't be an issue, but then I would be stuck with the low performance of the GPU on the deck. So I still get better graphics by sharing it between the deck and my recording software. Other ways people cope with this is they will use a separate computer to record video, and interestingly, the Steam Deck in desktop mode can be used as a computer, and like I ran OBS on it. I might experiment with that a little more, because when I do live streams from my bicycle, having something like the Steam Deck maybe on my bike, in a bag, of course, hooked up to like a power bank and some extra cameras would be kind of cool, you know, like having a multi-camera setup for streaming from my bike would be kind of cool. So I'm investigating that. But anyway, bottom line, by using remote play, you can outsource the work to your computer. So you can hook your Steam Deck up to your TV and tap into the resources of your desktop computer. So you got like a, 8-core processor or 16-core processor, 8 cores, 2 threads per core. So it looks like a 16-core, but you got 16 threads. You got, the high clock frequency. This is like a whole gigahertz faster than the Steam Deck is. It's a more robust CPU than the deck. We got the NVIDIA RTX 2060. Okay, we get ray tracing on a Steam Deck by using remote play. Now, the caveat is doing this over the internet gets a little sketchy. You got a low frame rate. It works best on your own home network over a solid Wi-Fi connection. And I mean, ideally, it really works best over a wired connection. And so, my HDMI adapter has USB ports on it, and I plugged a gigabit USB gigabit Ethernet adapter into it. So this computer is hardwired, my Steam Deck is hardwired, and that's how I get best results, because now I can do this in any room in the house. And sometimes I like to go into the other room where my plasma TV is, and I love the picture of my plasma, and I think it's good for high-speed action it's stuck at 60 hertz, but it's a solid 60 hertz. It's a real 60 hertz. A lot of, LCDs will fake whatever they're doing. A plasma will give you like a legit, what if it says it's giving you 60 hertz, you're getting 60 hertz out of it. But anyway, you won't get motion blur, stuff like that. So yeah, I love using my Steam Deck to play PC games on my plasma TV. It's just wonderful. And, so that's the gist of it. Like we got more RAM, we got 64 gigs up here, more storage capacity. That's like one of the big things is the storage capacity. I got like 16 terabytes, and like the Steam Deck does not have 16 terabytes. You could buy a large external hard drive for your Steam Deck. You can certainly do that and plug it into your TV or even play it from the palm of your hand. But, this, I think, is more convenient because my games will stay up to date on my PC. So, I don't know, those are my selling points. But really, I guess if I had to sum it up, using remote play gives you more resources than what your Steam Deck is able to leverage on its own. It allows you to run a better GPU on your Steam Deck without running it directly, provided that you have a good network connection. And if that means basically it works best when everything is hardwired over a gigabit adapter, over a gigabit connection. And yeah, I think that basically covers it. So if you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. Otherwise, please like and subscribe. How do I exit this? Oh yeah, so if you ever have this happen on a Steam Deck, I should actually go over that. I happen to have a controller with a mouse on it, but you could use the touch screen or touchpad on your deck. But when this happens, let's say I'm in front of my TV and I accidentally do this and I'm looking at my desktop, I would just have to go down to the taskbar. Whoops. Uh-oh. That's weird. And sometimes you might, yeah, I just, whoops. That's not normal. I'm gonna do something insane here. There we go. And we have the game back up now. And forget about that file transfer window. See, this is like some of the weird stuff that will happen when you're using a Steam Deck to do things. Like, why is that file transfer window up? Because there we go. And it did it again. Like, you know, now we're like looking at like, you know, so these things will happen sometimes. Like, so this is why it's like of paramount importance not to touch the keyboard on your Steam Deck, on your computer, I should say. It's important not to touch the keyboard on your computer when using remote play. And if you do, just be prepared to like mess around with, like just now I had to like alt tab and kind of mess with it. But when you don't touch your keyboard and when you're in a different room than your computer using Steam Remote Play, yeah, this is the experience you get. It's like sitting in front of your computer, but not. So yeah, I'm quite fond of it. I'm a happy camper, and I like having better graphics on my TV. I like using ray tracing on my TV without plugging my computer into my TV. And then when I leave the house, yeah, I can play the game on my handheld and all of my save data is there. And that's like half the reason I bought the deck, is so that I can play games when I'm outside the house. Like, you know, that's like part of it. Like my save data would be carried over. I'm on a wired connection right now. And looks like I gotta restart my device to run an update. So, no better time than the present. And with that, I think we really will end this stream as soon as I can get my input to switch. But yeah, that basically covers that. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, leave a comment. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, please like. And with that, end transmission.